Hey everyone. Okay, so I'm going to do this really quickly, but yeah, I got a lot of stuff at the library, so I'm going to talk about all that real fast. I think I'll talk about the DVDs first. Sorry, I was looking because they're in a pile over there, and I realized I forgot to bring them here, and I just don't want to go get them. Also, I apologize if I sound bad. I woke up feeling terrible this morning, so I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, the DVDs that I got were Vicious Season 2, which is about a gay couple living in London who've been partners for like 50 years, and the reason it's called Vicious is because they take the piss out of each other all the freaking time. All the time. And they basically act like they're furious with each other all the time, but they've been in love for 50 years. It's hilarious. And then it's also about all of their friends, and it's got a great cast. Ian McKellen and Derek Jacobi play the gay couple, and then Frances Delator plays their very eccentric friend Violet. And then the guy who plays Ramsay Snow is in it as Ash, and his character is actually wonderful, so that's a nice break from wanting to kill him on Game of Thrones. And yeah, so that's a really good show. I love it. Unfortunately, Season 3 got canceled. I just watched Season 2 yesterday, and I loved it, but unfortunately, Season 3 got canceled. But there is going to be a one-off in 2016, so hopefully that will wrap up the whole show. I really hope they didn't film it before they knew Season 3 was getting canceled, but anyway. And then I also got Zen, which is a modern detective show with Rufus Sewell. And from the advertisements, it's half gonna look like I'm gonna like it, and half looks like I'm not gonna like it, so we'll see. And then I got He Knew He Was Right, which was a BBC miniseries based on an Anthony Trollope novel. And I checked this out several months ago when I checked out The Way We Live Now, and every time I saw a preview for He Knew He Was Right, it just seemed like I wasn't going to like it. So then I ended up taking it back without watching it. But then I saw it this time and I was like, maybe I'll give it another go. And then this really sweet lady was standing beside me in the DVD section, and she saw that I had that, and she was like, oh my gosh, that's the best. It's such a good movie. And I was like, this one? And I held it up and she was like, yeah, it's so good. I love all the BBC stuff. And I was like, really? Because I saw a preview and it looked depressing. Or like someone told me it was depressing, and she was like, who would think that was depressing? And I said, well, isn't it about a guy who thinks his wife is cheating on him for like the whole show? And she said, well, yeah, but you have to watch it. It's so good. And I was like, okay, cool. So I am going to watch it. Since I'm sick, that's probably what I'm going to watch now. Because that's what I do when I'm sick, is I just lay around watching movies. And what else did I get? I got Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, because my mom and I haven't seen it, and we wanted to see it when it was in theaters, so we'll probably sit down and watch that. And I got Cloud Atlas, because I was going to read the book first, but now I'm really leaning towards watching the film, because I think if I love the film, that will help me push through my fear of reading the book. So, maybe. And then what else did I get? I got... Oh no, I'm forgetting what else I got. Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. Hi guys, sorry about that. Okay, I got... In addition to that, I got Captain America Winter Soldier, because for some reason I still don't own this and I really wanted to rewatch it. And then I got The Fountain with Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz. Wise. I used to say Wise, but I think it's like Vice or something. I tried this a really long time ago and it was really confusing and bizarre, so I stopped watching. But I love Hugh Jackman and I actually really like her as well. So I'm gonna try again. And then I got Austin Land, just because it's cheesy, but the more I watch it, the more I love it. The first time I watched it, I was like, that was cute, but it was kind of stupid. And then the second time I was like, I actually really like this movie. And so, yeah, I just checked this out so that I didn't have to try to hunt for it online again. And then I told you guys about Gravity. And then the last one I got was Aloha. which has Bradley Cooper and Emma Stone and Rachel McAdams. And I was going to see this in theaters. I was fully planning on it, but then my brother backed out at the last minute, and I really didn't want to go by myself because I didn't want to spend the money if he wasn't going to go with me. So I didn't end up going, and now I got it for free from my library, so yay. And the good thing about this is it's not one of those movies where you have to watch it in the theater because it's not action-y and stuff, so yep. Okay, now for the books. I think I mentioned to you guys, I did a video on this, so hopefully you guys have seen it, but I want to start reading Charles Dickens in chronological order, as well as Eliot, but this one is about Dickens. And so I wanted some background information, so I went to my library and I got a bunch of books. Two of them I realized might be kind of spoilery for plots for others of his books that I haven't actually read yet. So, and if you guys have read either of these, please let me know in the comments whether or not it's spoilery, and I won't, like, I'll just, if they're not, great, and I'll read them, but if they are, I don't really want to. I want to check them out again after I've read all his books, but one of them is Becoming Dickens by Robert Douglas Fairhurst, which is a bio, and then Charles Dickens, A Life by Claire Tomalin. I've heard this is like the best biography on him because I've just heard Claire Tomalin is amazing. So I really want to read those two, but not, like, I think I might check them out again after. And then we have Charles Dickens and the Street Children of London. This is about how Dickens' childhood and then growing up and seeing what the lives of children were like when he was older, basically how that affected the way he wrote children in his novels. So, yeah, it sounds really interesting. But what I'll do with this one is I'll probably read any parts that I don't think are spoilery, and then if something starts to give away the plot of or any details about one of the books I haven't read, or a story that I don't know, then I will put it down. Same with Victorian literature, literary movements, or the Greenhaven Press Companion to Literary Movements and Genres. This will be great because it's not just about Dickens, so I'll be able to read a lot of it with Victorian lit that I've already read. So, yeah, we'll see. And then What Jane Austen Ate and Charles Dickens Knew, From Fox Hunting to Whist, The Facts of Daily Life in 19th Century England by Daniel Poole. This isn't actually about Austen or Dickens, it's just about daily life, so this is one that I think I will be able to read all the way through without spoiling myself for any novels or anything like that. So, yeah, and the interesting thing is that I also found another one yesterday by Daniel Poole called Dickens's Fur Coat and Charlotte's Unanswered Letters, like Victorian Arguments or something. I forget the full title, but I looked it up on Goodreads and it got like 0.3 points lower than this one did. I think that one was 3.53 general ratings, and this one was 3.85. So I was like, well, obviously I'm going to get this one instead. Originally I was planning on getting both. And then for these two, I'm just going to read about the books where I've already read them or I already know their story, or the current book that I'm reading, and then check them out again as I read each of his books. And that is Charles Dickens' Comprehensive Research and Study Guide by Harold Bloom, which that's a series that he did, and then the Greenhaven Press Literary Companion to British Authors, Readings on Charles Dickens. And unfortunately, the two biggest, like, greatest sources that I had in the library, you weren't allowed to take out of the library, and then she said that you could, that I could copy pages from them on the copier, but then I thought that both the copier and the printer at my library were, like, you put money on your library card, and that's how you, and then there's a, like, swipe machine, like a credit card, and that's how you pay for printing or copying. Because that's the way it was with the printer when I was printing things at Halloween. And then I went up to the copier, and there's no swipe thingy for your card. So I found out that that was just cash and coins, and I had already used my dollar to put on my card, and the only other thing I had was a $5, and I was like, I can't give this machine a $5. I don't need to print $5 worth of things. Although I could have, actually. But, I mean, even that wouldn't have covered all this stuff, because, like, all the sections for these books that I wanted to print copy were, like, I don't know, they totaled something, like, one book had a 40-page section on Pickwick Papers, and that was what I needed. So I was like, I can't copy this. This is going to be a fortune. So, yep. But anyway, so I had to leave those there, but I'll just try to find the same resources online, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so those are all the books and all the DVDs. Oh, I forgot to show you 2 of them. This is Harold Bloom's book on the Brontes, and this I can read in its entirety, I think, because I've already read 3 of the Brontes books. And if there are any spoilers for the rest of Charlotte's books or Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, then I'll just, or like Emily's Poetry, then I will just skim over that. And then the other one that I got that I'm so excited about is At Home with Jane Austen, and it's basically a coffee table book about her growing up where she did, and like the house she grew up in, and her surroundings, and a lot of the places that she wrote about, like Bath and stuff like that. So, travels and tours. There's a section on stately mansions. So this just sounds really fun, and like it would be fun to skim through rather than read from cover to cover, because it's a coffee table book and you're generally